Hello and welcome to the S.H.E Gallery Show. Tonight is a very, very special night. I know we always say that, but it's extra special because it is the last segment.
It is our last show.
For the season. So, bittersweet. Thank you for hanging out throughout the entire season. Again, my name is Dulce Maria Diaz, Director of S.H.E Gallery, your host. And I am here with Diane Pasolo, your co-host. How are you, Di?
Hi, I'm good. I'm good. It is definitely bittersweet. Glad to be here, though. Thank you guys for hanging in there. If you just tuned in today and you like this episode, go on to our YouTube page and check out other episodes. You could actually find those on our website as well, and that is sharinghisenergygallery.net. We do have a section on there that has all of our episodes from CAN TV and the S.H.E Gallery call-in show, so you can check out some of our old episodes. And then just kind of see some of the guests we had on. We have links to all of our guests on our website. So today you're just kind of going to hang out with me and Dulce a little bit, get to know us a little bit, some of the upcoming art shows that Dulce has in mind for S.H.E Gallery, and we'll stay here a little for a while.
Yeah. So we're going to start off with, like Diane mentioned, learning a little bit more about your host, Diane Pasola. When I met her, was Diane Martinez.
Yes.
She recently became Diane Pasolo. Congratulations.
Thank you.
She's got an amazing husband, and they're growing together, and they're really helping the community. Diane is not just an amazing person, an amazing friend. She's also worked really, really hard to put herself through school. That's actually how Diane and I met. We were in school together,
Yes.
or we met, and then we realized that we were going to have biology together, and it was like, hey, I'm going to miss my first class. Can I borrow your book?
Exactly.
And it was just like we were just hitting up Detroit and being friends and partying
And that was about
a long time
a very
ago.
long time ago. I don't want to say your age. My kids think I'm really young, so we'll just leave it at that. But that was a very long time ago.
Yes, and since then she continued her education, UIC.
Yes.
Grew up in the south side of Chicago, Southsider. And you put yourself through school. You want to talk to us a little bit about why you decided to be an educator?
Yeah. College was. I had to do it. Like I didn't really. My parents wanted me to. My mom said if I wanted to continue to live at home, I had to go to school. So, but plus I wanted to. I didn't do so well in high school. I had.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Curie.
Okay.
Southwest Side, Archer, and Pulaski. One of the biggest schools on the south side. And, it's a very big school. Sometimes with big schools, kids tend to kind of get lost in the shuffle. I needed a little bit more like guidance, and I really didn't have that. I had great parents, but they were both, working factory workers, hard workers. I just needed a little bit more guidance, and I really kind of didn't get that through school. I ended up taking a dance class my senior year, which kind of really taught me a lot about discipline. I was into dance for a long time.
Still is.
I still am into dance. But then when it came time to go to college, I had known because my sister went to UIC that we actually didn't qualify for financial aid. And I don't know if our viewers are aware, but supposedly people think like, oh, only rich people don't get financial aid. Well, I'm pretty sure my parents aren't rich. I'm pretty sure they were probably both at the time. Probably neither of them making more than $30,000 a year, but with their combined income, according to the government, we had enough money to pay for school, which in fact they did it. They were, surviving and paying for a home and whatnot. So, going to school wasn't it wasn't easy. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go to school. I really didn't ask them for money. They were supporting our family. So I had to work. I worked throughout my whole bachelor's.
Thank you for bringing that up. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I really appreciate that you bring that up because people don't realize that. It's not that easy to go to school. It's not that we're being lazy and just want to drop out. It's that it's expensive.
It's very expensive.
We don't have that type of money.
Yeah, and I never, I think the community colleges are amazing, and that's actually where Dulce and I met. We met at Daly. I went to Herald for 3 years.
I went there after.
Yes, and yeah, we were there at the same
teachers,
time.
Actually,
Herald was
I have to
amazing.
say, Herald Washington has amazing teachers.
Our city colleges are great, and I know especially, at my high school and others, we really push kids towards this 4-year college. And sometimes that's just not for everybody. And it's not that college isn't for everybody. It's just that at like 17, I don't know what I wanted to do. Like, I was like 23 and I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So, I really appreciated my time at the community colleges. I excelled. I was the president of like the Organization of Latin American Students, OLAS at the time. I took art classes. I kind of figured out who I was at community college. I changed my major 3 times, and community college really allows you the chance to do things like that, which a university might not allow you to do.
A place like Harold Washington, like one thing that I've learned about Diane, or that I've been able to see from Diane, sometimes you're in your own body, you can't see yourself, is that she's always been very strong. She's always felt very strong about political issues. She's always felt very strong about the community. And she's always had something to say. She's always been a very strong activist at heart. And now then you're growing, and now you're able to actually.
Yeah. So at Harold, I took like my first issues in Mexico class, and that was kind of
the same class because you recommended
yes,
it. I remember
great.
that was a great class. Cinco de Mayo, we didn't win anything, guys.
Exactly,
Corona brought that out, and I learned that at Harold Washington.
And I think that's a thing I learned too by talking to a lot of Mexican Americans, and even most of my students at Benito Juarez are predominantly Mexican. But as Latinos, a lot of times we don't know our own history, and it's really sad. We're really proud to be Latino,
it's crazy.
but we don't know our own history. And I think learning that really it empowered me, and it really allowed me to reflect on my life, specifically in education, and injustices done to people of color, not just in the Latino community, but also in the African American community. And
the poor community.
Exactly. And just the injustices within education. And that kind of encouraged me. I got my bachelor's in Latin American and Latino Studies from UIC, but that kind of encouraged me to want to pursue a degree in education, because I did not want, even though I did have some really good teachers growing up, I also realized that the public school system is a service that is a right to all children in the United States, regardless of what neighborhood you live in. And I don't know if the guests are aware, but this is why there's inequality in schooling, because we get funding from the state. Therefore, and that is based on property taxes. Therefore, if you are in a community where that is considered low income, they are not paying that much money in property taxes. Therefore, your school is not as good as some of these other communities. And that's why there's these injustices within, just the city of Chicago. Why some schools in one neighborhood, even though they're both CPS, might have these amazing programs and this other school doesn't. So it's very messed up. But at the core of things, I thought I could be an educator and I could make a difference. So I've been teaching for 5 years now.
That's really awesome, Di.
Thanks.
And see, she's able to pinpoint stuff like that I'm sure we didn't know. I didn't know that. Not to that detail, no. So thank you for sharing that with us. And I really want to thank you as a teacher, and I want to thank all of the teachers out there, because every guest that we have had on this show, if you have noticed, we've really pushed on the importance of education. As Diane mentioned, it's not that easy and it's not cheap, and some of us have to work really, really, really hard to pursue it. And even when we do, sometimes we end up with a lot of bills and our same job, but we have to try to push forward and encourage each other to stay in school and to pursue the education, the importance of education. So Diane is now an educator. She's a high school teacher at Benito Juarez. And what is it that you teach at Benito Juarez?
I teach, so I got my degree in history. I figured that was a good outlet to talk about issues, and I've always been interested in history, and I feel like history really empowers people. I feel like knowledge is power. That's not just a cheesy saying. Throughout history, the ruling class has tried to stop the lower classes from becoming educated, and there's a reason for that, because once you are educated, you have the equipment and the knowledge and the power to fight the system and fight for your rights. So I thought that was very, very important, at the core of things, that at the very least, even if these kids don't go to college, at the very least they are equipped with the knowledge and the power to succeed in this country and understand why things are the way they are, and understand how the world works, so they could live and function in the society.
Thank you. So, even if you are stuck with your bills and at home, nobody's ever going to take that power away from you. She said it very, very clear. Education is power, and it is extremely, extremely powerful. A lot of the things, like she mentioned, with the school system and a lot of our laws are not very fair, are not very just, but it's up to us. And that's one of the things that S.H.E Gallery is really trying to push people to understand, the communities within your own family, to really encourage each other and grow, because after all, this is our world. These are our streets, these are our communities. If we go into politics, maybe we could change some laws. Then we could start seeing the change happen. It's very doable. So thank you so much. We're going to reflect a little bit on all of our previous shows. We have this lovely slideshow, oops, sorry, that Nicholas put together. This PowerPoint presentation, as we reflect a little bit on the S.H.E Gallery show. You remember Judith, Susan Rocha with La Brocha Collective. They worked with the Alzheimer's elders. We also had Alma Dominguez. She was a resource, a point of resource. My father, Nicholas Diaz, as he shared his story with immigration. We have Louis Cairo, who is an attorney in a very successful firm, also sharing his story, the importance of family and education. Miguel Cambry. Please remember Miguel Cambry from the National Louis University, and remember that you can still contact him. We just mentioned the importance of education, and if you remember, Miguel Cambry is currently working on helping these communities and these zip codes get back to school.
Remember, as Dulce is kind of reflecting on these people, these could be found on our website, and we have links to all of our guests. So if you hear something that you like, you could go straight to our website and find out more information about them.
And another thing, right here we have Eliana Buenrostro with Mujeres Latinas en Acción. Some of you will remember that when she was on the show, she mentioned some of the services that they offer. One of them is the to become a certified medical advocate for sexually assaulted survivors. I'm currently taking this program. I'm currently training for this, and it is extremely informative. It's really nice to see these laws being changed because of the power of the people, again, going back to the power of education. Here we also have Alyssa Sobi Delgado. S.H.E represents somebody else that represents Chicago, its roots. Culture is also extremely important. Where we don't just say to educate for money, but again for power, and to remember your roots, your culture, and take that out into the world. We had Daisy Dominguez, who shared some very great information.
Yeah, she was an immigration attorney in light of all of the Trump legislation that was passed. There was kind of tension in not just the Latino community, but in general in the immigrant community. And Daisy came on and just let us know about your rights as an undocumented person living in Chicago.
And you can still contact her, right?
Yes, absolutely. And her services are very reasonable.
We had Kathy Cummings, who's also working so hard on these petitions. We learned the importance of the petition. We have here activist artist Alfonso Piloto Nieves Ruiz, who S.H.E Gallery is currently also working on, working with on a future exhibition, so keep your eye out for that. Then we also have Billy Gauch, mother of 9 Elevation. She was one of S.H.E Gallery's returning artists from the solar system, extremely spiritual artist. We have a very young, our youngest guest, Isabella.
And cutest, probably.
So cute. So smart, too, extremely inspiring. If you have not checked out this segment, you should. Just extremely, extremely bright girl, and this is where we all start. We all start from being this age, then we're handed all these options, come across all of these barriers, and she helps us get back to that kid inside of us and remember, that we all go through this, even at her age. We have my sister, Maria Diaz-Streeper, FDA public liaison. We met actually all of my family, my immediate family, because they are the board of directors also from S.H.E Gallery. So that's the role that they also play. One of our favorite guests was Dion McGill, who was just with us with Diane Pasolo. He was great, teaching us of everything that the Illinois Council Against Handgun Violence is working on. And here we have us, your host, Dulce and Diane.
Oh.
This was actually at a Fiona Apple concert.
Yes. It's amazing.
Yeah, that was fun. And here we are now. So, S.H.E Gallery.
Yeah.
Who is S.H.E Gallery?
Exactly.
S.H.E Gallery.
For those of you wondering, 'cause I think when people see it, they're like, what do they do? I'm like, check out the website. So Dulce kind of called me and said, I'm doing this thing, and she's always been very, very creative, always, since the time I met her. And she called me up one day and said, because I had a non-for-profit at the time, unfortunately, that didn't work out. It was a dance non-for-profit called Recycled Bar. And she said, you know, how...
And congratulations on that, regardless, because
Thank
it was
you,
something that
thank
you did.
It's hard. Maybe someday again.
Maybe. I'm sure I will.
and
then you helped me get to here, so thank you.
Yeah, Dulce called me up and said, you know, we were kind of on a friendship hiatus. We hadn't talked to her about it. She said, hey, you know, I know you had a not-for-profit. Is it hard? And I said, absolutely not. And, you know, told her to contact LegalZoom. And then a couple of months after that, she said, you know, we're having our first, actually, it wasn't your first show, it was the second show. She said, do you want to do it?
Yeah.
And so, why don't you tell us a little bit about that so everybody knows what S.H.E Gallery is?
So S.H.E Gallery, S.H.E Gallery is, like everything else, is an idea, right? We start with a seed, we start with a seed, we come up with this idea. So in my case, I'm not going to give you my whole entire life story, but I am an immigrant. I went through a lot of barriers, not only as an immigrant, but also as a woman, as, I don't want to say victim, as a survivor of many of life's obstacles. Many and many and many. I should have probably been slicing my wrist right now, but instead I kept fighting and I kept going, and I want to help and encourage other people that have gone through the same issues and obstacles that I've gone through, because we all have, because we all do, every single day, because we're human. So I'm also very extremely spiritual, and I do a lot of dream interpretation, and like she mentioned, I've always been very creative. So a few years ago I had some surgeries, I had reoccurring dreams, which are very important to follow. I did some dream interpretation, I worked with some spiritual counselors, and I learned that this was the University of Chicago. I said, well, I cannot afford the University of Chicago, so now what? Well, you know, I can't just give up. I gotta dig deep and find out what this is all about. I looked into the University of Chicago's website and learned that they are in partnership with, it's a continuing education through Graham program, and they work together with another nonprofit called the Hyde Park Art Center. This is where I had to go. I went
Which
there.
is beautiful, by the way. If you've never gone there, you should go to a show there or something. It's beautiful.
We had our Liberty Memoir show there last year. But ultimately, these dreams and really staying true to yourself, and even though we don't live in a society where you're supposed to pay attention to your intuition or your gut or your dreams, but really that's what will drive you. It shouldn't be what somebody tells you. It should be you. You're the one that has the best answers, because you don't have to believe in God, but you're not alone. I believe that we're all centered with other energies, ultimately, perhaps the exact same energy that allows us to breathe and talk and love and live. So we have to cultivate that energy. At least I found it important. So through my dream interpretation, I ended up taking these courses through the University of Chicago at the Hyde Park Art Center, Business for Arts. I'm not a business person at all. I was hardly even considered myself an artist. But there I was with a bunch of real artists, which was really, really hard. It's really, really hard, because the art world it can be very egoistic.
Intimidating.
Yeah, egoistic, intimidating. I still don't feel like I fit in the art world, but I feel now that if I fit in this world, I don't have to be put in any kind of category. You just do what you love.
Yeah.
So an amazing teacher, Rebecca George, at the my business class. So I took a writing class, a teaching class, a curating class, and finally the last class was the business class. And that is where she really asked me, she really got in my head, what do you want to do? Why are you taking this class? I wanted to run out the door. I was like, I don't know why I'm taking this class. I'm following my dreams. I really should go back to sleep. I don't know what I'm doing. But she really had me think, and I thought, well, what am I not happy about? I'm not happy that I grew up in the city of Chicago with graffiti artists, innovators in the 90s, early 90s, Case. I mean, just a lot of artists in Chicago that were just really risking their lives to get this art on the walls, and I would take photographs, and I grew up with these guys. Then we did a lot of party productions. I used to be in a party production, and then we all grow up, and I'm starting to see that these artists, these other artists that are coming from out of nowhere, are making all of this money being in these galleries with all of these rich people. Nothing against rich people, but culture was just like, that kind of it kind of upset me.
Absolutely.
It did something to me.
Graffiti also became, and just to be clear, there's a difference between like gang graffiti and like street art graffiti. And that's what we're referring to, is kind of like street art graffiti. So the very colorful ones, permission walls, where you might see a lot of guys doing a wall at one time, very different than gang graffiti for people who are not aware. But graffiti has definitely become mainstream, and once it did become mainstream, you have all of these people with money, thinking that graffiti's cool. And these very, popular street artists, such as Banksy and stuff, and these people spending so much money on these pieces, and maybe even some of the neighborhood people kind of, quote unquote, selling out. Yeah, so I totally know what Dulce is talking about. What are we looking at here, Dulce?
This is She Gallery's first art exhibition, Paveway. And these were the artists that we had on the first exhibition to show who paved the way, at least some of the artists that helped pave the way while I was growing up.
That's great.
Thank you. We wanted to give a little bit of history on all of graffiti history, starting in Philadelphia, not New York, Cornbread, give all of this real history. And at the end, it was so much. I'm like, I'm going to write a whole book about this. But at the end, I thought, well, this is my story. These are the people I grew up with. So this is where I started. And from there, I learned the importance of having a nonprofit. So that's when I had called Diane up, and I literally took out my 401k. Yeah, I did that. And I got my nonprofit, and I've just been going with it every single step of the way. I don't always know what I'm doing. I follow my intuition. Because I feel like it's important to trust. I'm also a paralegal. I've been a paralegal for a very long time, so I'm also in the legal system, which I very much enjoy. I help injured workers, I help injured people, and I'm also, driving the nonprofit now. So aside from the art exhibitions, I've tapped into film. Now we're also doing broadcasting. We do hope to return. We are finishing up this segment. I just want to give you guys a couple of announcements. Some other things that She Gallery is doing. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Summit, the Lake FX Summit Expo. It's a creative con. This is its third year in Chicago at the Cultural Center. It's very exciting. Last year, Rhymefest was there. Lupe Fiasco performed. This year, you guys should check it out. I'll put it on here, but this year. It's going to be...
and is this a free event?
Yes.
Okay.
It is a free... thank you. It is a free event.
And for those of you who don't know, the Cultural Center is usually, free, and it's great. If you're always... anytime you're looking for something to do downtown, you could always stop by the Cultural Center. There's usually free, photography exhibits, and you could walk through, and there's usually, live jazz musicians, too, in the, in the lobby area, and it's great. So the Cultural Center is a great place to go.
So this is it. If you go to the city of Chicago, you could punch in Lake FX Chicago 2017 Creative Con presented by Google. This is an awesome event. It's a lot of different organizations, artists, creators, Creative Con that are coming together in Chicago. She Gallery is going to be part of the Access Labs, and we are extremely excited because we will be having a table there. We're interacting with participants who want to come, and like me, I had a dream, I had a seed. Like Diane, she had a dream, she had a seed, and you water it with work. You don't sit there and pray. You work with the divine, but you have to work. You have to literally work. So what we will do is I'm going to sit with the participants. You're more than welcome, and please do come. And we're going to write a proposal together. You're going to learn how to write an art exhibition, or an art exhibition proposal, I should say.
Very cool.
Throughout both April 21st and April 22nd, we will be there from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and I will be working with participants to write art proposals. At the end of the second day, thank you.
That's awesome.
At the end of the second day, I'm going to get together with a collaborator who's a little bit of a surprise. I'm very excited at the location of where this, okay, I'm jumping a little bit. So at the end of the second day, we'll end up picking out one of those art exhibitions, and we're going to work with that participant to actually have that art exhibition. And I'm working on a really cool place to host. So we're very excited. Awesome. Thank you. So that was one of the discouraging things about having a gallery. I was like, well, I want to do this, but I barely have enough money to pay my bills. How am I going to have these shows? and it took me back to my roots, my party roots. You find a venue, you promote it, and you do it. So
Awesome.
that's what I did. Another thing that's going to be really cool about this presentation is we will have live artists. So please join us. And thank you again so much for such a great season. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you. Please join us hopefully in the fall.
Yes, summer.
Okay, summer, just
keep in
kidding.
touch. Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing your energy. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys. Bye.